Hello, hello. It is Technique Tuesday, formally Color Theory Tuesday. Not that we're not going to learn about color theory, but I have had so many requests for techniques that I'm going to kind of do a combination of both. I think it's good for you, it's good for me. Practice is always good. You always get better when you practice, and I don't practice enough. I'm just like anybody else. I get so many things going on that I tend to forget, and then you're tired and yada yada yada. So we're going to learn some techniques today, specifically trees. Now, obviously, there's hundreds of kinds of trees, and so we're going to focus on probably just two, maybe even just one, depends on how I get going when I chit chat it and all the fun stuff. But we're going to have to wait and see. I want to start first with, I believe we're going to do birch trees, maybe evergreen. I want to do them both, so I kind of, we'll just go with it. But anywho, so we're going to get started. I'm going to flip the camera view so that we can go with what's going on my paper. And we're going to do this in watercolors. I know there's different ways to do all kinds of things, but today's watercolors. I think next week we probably will do acrylic because I think a lot of my followers like to use acrylic, especially when it comes to trees. So here we go. I hope your Tuesday is wonderful, and let's flip to what we are doing. All right. I'm not sure. There we go. I don't really know what's going on. I think I get this going right, and then lo and behold, it is not. But it's all good. Anyway, so we're going to, hopefully you see it pretty good. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put my glasses on so that I can see what we're doing. I don't think we can go any bigger. I don't really understand what is going on. So, I don't know. Who knows? I'll have to get my technical people back out and help me figure it out. Okay, so here's our paper, and I'm going to just use one paintbrush. This is a number 4 round. Okay. Now, I am going to do an evergreen because I think that that might be a place to start. Okay. Now, how I like to do evergreens is I always do a straight-ish line. It doesn't have to be straight, okay, but a line, okay? Now, this line is the trunk, all right? It's where we're going to use as our baseline, okay? And the cool thing about watercolors is that to make it lighter, we just remove some of the pigment, okay? Now, when I tell you we're going to go back and forth over this line, a majority of this line, which is your trunk, we're going to make it go away, all right? Watercolors is even different for trees than what I'm used to. We're going to go back and forth across this trunk, but I also want you to be careful not to try to worry about things being symmetrical. Okay, up here, we're going to do just little dinky touches because at the top of the tree, it's smaller. Okay, and then we're just I'm just dabbing, but I don't want to be symmetrical. Okay, that's the big thing. It's like I can see with my glasses, but I can't see with my glasses. Okay. So for this specific tree, because there's even, different kinds of evergreen trees too, okay? I'm going to leave a little of the trunk showing because we can always add it in. All I'm doing is going back and forth. As we come down the tree, we're going to get continually fatter and fatter. Now here's where a lot of people make a huge mistake, okay? They get too fat too fast, okay? Now, we all think of an evergreen as being you know, for Christmas, it's all nice and symmetrical. It looks like something a kid could cut out of a piece of paper. When you know, remember when you used to fold it in half in school? Um, we are not doing that. Okay. All I'm doing, if you could see, I'm just tap, 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 tap. Okay. I get quite a bit of pigment on my brush. I have like a puddle of water. I don't know if you can see it or not. Okay. See how I have like this puddle of water here? Can you see it? Okay. And I just continually kind of add a little bit more. There. Now you can kind of get an idea. All right. Let the camera refocus. Now, and then I'm just tap, tap, tap. You can kind of see me tap, tap, tap. But I don't want it to be symmetrical, okay? I want some sides to look like, oh my gosh, you know, that branch maybe it fell off. Um, all I'm doing is tap, tap, tap. This is watercolors, and you use a lot of water, okay? If you can see, I'm kind of scooting over from this edge, this line. It's okay. It's not a big deal. And then I'm just kind of tapping in, like if I'm thinking, oh, I'm getting a little too lopsided, that's okay. Tap in a little bit more out here. It's not a big deal. Okay. Now down here, I know when I'm in class with people, I tell people not to use the side of their brush, but I am going to use the side of my brush because down here is bigger. So just to get an immense amount of coverage really quick. Okay. See how I'm just tap, tap, tapping? Okay, then I can go back and add more pigment to these areas to make it darker. All right. Okay. Now, then I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to kind of fold it till I get this little point. All right. And all I'm going to do is kind of come in here and just tap in a little bit here and there to soak up a little water. Okay, it's going to help it to start to look, and you can even go, well, it's going to help it look like it has little highlights, okay? But while I'm doing that, I'm also going out. So like what I mean by that is, see this area here that's still white? I'm going to tap, 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 kind of pull that out a little bit. Okay, see how that kind of works? Ta-da, look at that. Then the cool thing is if you're like, oh, I don't know, then add a little bit more water to your brush. You can kind of tap in a little water to change some of these if you're like, oh, I don't really like it. But here's the thing, okay? This is techniques. We're not doing a painting. We're not doing any kind of structure with this. We are learning to make our trees look like a tree, okay? Now, right beside it, let's do a different kind of evergreen tree. I don't know if you can see this very well. Here, I'll pick it up. Okay, see how that is? Simple, simple, simple. I'm leaving the dark pieces in here and also have some light. Great time. Great, great, great. I can't wait. So what do you think about that tree? Put it in the comments what you think. Okay, I'm going to get a little more brown. This time I'm going to do another evergreen, okay? But we're kind of going to do, maybe there's some, this is going to have some branches that kind of stick out. Okay, remember, we are not doing a painting. Okay? We're just learning. All right, now, same thing. I'm going to go with this dark green again because I like this green. Maybe add a little bit of this to my brush. Who knows? Okay. Now, before we do that, I am going to dry it. Well, just a little. Okay. Now, then I'm just tapping in around here. Can you see I'm just tap, 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 tap. That's just using the tip of my brush and tap, tap, tap to give the illusion of a different kind of evergreen. Now, do I know if there's an evergreen like this? Not personally. I'm not an evergreen. Uh, I don't know what the word is. But I know that we have evergreens that look kind of, I don't want to say sickly, but kind of maybe sickly. See how I have this brown spot? I don't know if you can see it here. See this brown spot right here? I'm going to leave it because this kind of tree, I think that you're going to be able to see um, more of the branches, okay? Now, so I'm going to do this all the way down. I'm kind of thinking I want to leave a little bit here. This to me reminds me, you know, because I know a lot of people aren't ready for Christmas. I'm not necessarily ready for Christmas, but it reminds me sort of a Charlie Brown tree. Okay, so it's just tap, tap, tap. Now, I want to show you specifically. Okay, like so I tap out here. Now see how these little dots, and they are not connecting. Okay. Now we can go back in and kind of touch in here a little bit to bring them together. And then if you see, I'm just tap, tap, tapping. I'm not giving it lots and lots of structure, okay? Just tap, tap, tap. And then I'm running out of water in mine, so I just add a little bit more water, fill up my little puddle, and just tap, 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 okay? Now, I'm going to take, first, I guess you're going to take a little bit of your paper towel, fold it up a little. We're going to go in and remove some of this pigment. Okay, so we've removed some pigment. Now, I'm going to take a little of my brown, and I'm going to deepen some of my branches. Deepen that color. It has less water. Less water will help you to be darker. And I'm going to pull out a couple. I'm just using the very tip of my brush. Maybe this little branch doesn't even have, maybe it's died. You know how sometimes, you know, you look out there in the trees, like some are green, some are not. Okay, so I'm just darkening using the very, 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 very tip. Like pretend it's a feather. Okay, barely touch the surface of your water. I mean, barely touch the surface of your paper, your canvas. Okay, so let me show you. I'll pull it up here so you can see really good. So if you look at just the tip of my brush, okay, I'm barely, 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 like it is just a little, it's like a feather. Like you want to touch the baby, but you don't really want to touch the baby, okay? So just touch, just very, very softly, okay? The edge of your bristles, they don't do anything. They just let it flow, okay? So these are two different different evergreens. Okay, this one is our cute little Charlie Brown one, and this one is our typical one. Okay, now the more you do them, the more it gets simpler. So, like, let's do another one that maybe like this one in a way, if you really look at it, is pretty symmetrical. Okay, so you have, you know, like it goes down, it's pretty symmetrical. So let's try to do one, oops, that is not so symmetrical. Okay, we'll show you again, because that's what techniques are about. Techniques are all about show, do, show, do, and then it's do, do, do. Okay, that's how you learn. It's repeating the same process over and over and over again until it becomes simpler. Okay, so remember, tap, 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 This time I'm going to leave a little bit more of my brown showing because I think that this tree, though it's beautiful, I think it's going to have a little less fullness, okay? Maybe this one's going to have a big gap here. Try to mimic what you see. And here's the thing, if you're not outside looking at these, then what happens is, sorry, I'm trying to move this so you can see better. There we go. Okay, so I would encourage you to go outside because sometimes we look at things, but we don't look at things from the perspective of how an artist looks at something. I can stare for hours at trees and try to figure out how many greens are there, how many branches are there. I mean, not like literally count them, but to see how they are put together, see how the bigger trunk and then the branch that comes off of it is like half the size of the one that it's holding onto that it grew out of, or how many shades of green, like, oh my gosh, you know, this one, it looks almost yellow, but it's truly green. It's just the way the light is hitting it. So I would really encourage you to spend some time in nature, even if it's just on your back porch, looking out the window. Maybe it's not even physically going outside, but maybe it's just looking at the trees. This is a great time of the year. They haven't turned any colors yet. They're still nice and green. So it might be something that you should do because that's going to help you. It's going to help you to understand the mechanics behind a tree. You know, look at the birch trees, look at evergreens, look at oaks and maples, and how do they all work together. So it's just, you know, how things are. All right, so I'm going to continue down here. So see how I have open, open, and then this side is open. I think what I'm going to do is this one's kind of going to go up and touch this one. And I'm just tap, tap, tapping. The harder you tap, the bigger you get. And then if you want little details, then you just barely touch it. Tap, 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 tap. Okay? All right. Need a little more water. Remember, this is watercolor, so if you use a little bit more water, it really flows a lot better. All right, then I'm going to take my paper towel, kind of dab it out a little bit just to give it some of that, you know, nice little, I don't want to say glow, but kind of in a way glow. But also to kind of touch it out here to give it a little oomph, okay? Then take a little bit more of my brown. Okay, maybe there's these little dinky lines. Okay, see what I'm doing? Okay, I'm just taking and pulling just a little bit out here. It just takes practice, okay? And as you get farther down the trunk, it gets fatter, okay? Because the base is what's holding this tree. So here, maybe I can see, I'm just, if you could, I mean, I'm like barely, barely, barely touching. Oops, I think that one was a little too big, but, okay? So you can just kind of see how things can start to change. Okay, just little dinky details. Now this up here is too dark, like the darkness has gotten away from me. Not a big deal. All you're gonna do is soak some of that paint up. And see how the green came right back? No big deal. We are not stressing. Okay, see? It's gone. Doo -doo -doo -doo. Okie dokie. Just tap, tap, tap. Okay, and I want a little bit more green here. There, see? Touch some of this brown. The cool thing is the brown can mix with the green, and then it's just gonna create some shadows. There we go. What do you think? So now we have 3 different looking trees. I'm going to encourage you like immensely to practice these. Okay, practice, practice, practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes progress. Okay, it is all about progress, and these are just 3 different kinds of evergreen trees. Okay, this one, like right here, it's like, oh, it kind of went a little crazy, but you know what? It's okay, because we're just practicing. That's all this is. It's just practice, practice. It's about techniques, okay? Remember, lots of water. You're going to use the very tip of your paintbrush, and you're just going to dab, 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 okay? You're going to learn how hard to push, how gentle to push. The darkness, as far as like all these branches that kind of come out, the big thing is make sure that they look like they're coming into the trunk. Okay, there we go. And then this one, as I'm looking, it's like, oh, well, this right here is here, so it needs to come out. It is not a big deal. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progress. Okay? Dun, 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 dun. What do you think? So we've done 3 trees, and we've created the same type of technique though. Each one of them, each tree was tap, 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 tap. It's just take in your brush. Just take your brush and tap, 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 tap. That's all it is. And then sometimes you can see the branches, sometimes you cannot. Okay? What do you think? I think we're doing great. All right. So, knowing that, I just want you to be aware that practice is all we need to do. All right? So practice your trees. I would love, love, love to know how you enjoyed the techniques part today. Techniques Tuesday. Next week, I think we'll do acrylics, and we're going to do that with birch trees. So if you have not liked and subscribed to my YouTube channel, Life with Susie, it's Life with Susie. I would so love that. Share it with a friend. All these are absolutely free. Subscribing is absolutely free, and it helps boost up my numbers. And I just can't wait to paint with you some more. All right? Well, you take care. I will see you all next week with acrylics, or you can, stick around and maybe we'll do some more. Well, tomorrow's Wednesday, so we're gonna do the little kids. So, all right, you take care. Have an amazing day, and God bless. And thanks for spending your Tuesday morning with me. God bless.